Hey, it is a little after 12 noon. We've had some technical difficulties. This live streaming didn't want to cooperate today, but we're here, as promised, like we are every Wednesday, to bring you Ask the Instructor. And today, what we're covering is studying for your real estate exams. Specifically the state exam, that's the big one that a lot of people worry about, but we're going to talk about how studying for both the class and state exam can exist harmoniously together. So that's what we're covering today, really the recommended strategy to study for your exams. I'm super excited to bring this show to you. I'm John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Carissimo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. We come to you live. My hair's a little crazy today, walking around outside with the hurricane. We're feeling those winds down here in Tampa. But let's get right to the point today. We're talking about studying for your exam. And now I want to leave you with a link right off the bat here where we've kind of compiled our recommended strategy as well as all of our approved study tools for studying for your real estate exam. That's at passfirsttry.com. So if you haven't checked out passfirsttry.com yet, make sure you check that out because that has basically everything it is that we're going to be talking about today and how it is that you should study for your exams. And this is a very thought out process and rationale behind this strategy here, and it does work if you do trust in it and actually do it. So number one is learning the information, and anytime you take the course, which is required unless you're an attorney or you have a degree in real estate, it's a requirement that you take the course. So it's basically a requirement that everyone learns the information. But that's where a lot of people will actually stop. And now you might have heard some of these ominous statistics about passing your state exam where, you know, some months it's less than 50%. It's typically about 50% of the people that take the exam on their first try pass it on their first try. And then retakers average about 33%, and sometimes even worse than that. That's across the entire state of Florida. So there's a lot of people that take the exam and a lot of people that don't ever pass the exam. And so, yes, it's imperative that you study. If you just stop at just learning this information, you're going to have a really hard time passing the exam. Now, one thing I will add to this is persistence is the ultimate winner in really anything, including this process. You know, you might have to take the exam 9, 10, 11 times if you're just going to rely on persistence alone, but if you rely on that persistence, maybe 9, 10 times after taking the exam, you finally do pass. But look, who wants to take this exam 9, 10 times? I don't. I'm sure you don't either. Even taking it twice is something you're probably not wanting to do, especially when you consider that the state exam, they charge per attempt. So every time you go to take that exam, it's like $38 currently to retake that exam again and again and again and again. So not only is it going to be a financial cost, but also an emotional cost and a mental cost as well, because you're having to sit in there and, you know, rack your brain for these 3.5 hours that they give you for this exam to try to figure out what the answers are when you're really just guessing. So it's really frustrating, could really break you down in that process if you're not going into this fully prepared. The other thing too is the cost of time. And you know, you might have potential deals lined up, potential people that you're maybe going to be working with that have already said that, yeah, they want to wait for you so they could sell their house, but they don't want to wait too long, so you know the pressure's on there to get this exam passed. You can't just stop at learning the information. There has to be some sort of reinforcement that's going to help you remember. And now, what is it that you want to remember? So you do not want to study and try to just remember all of the exam questions that you're maybe seeing in your textbook or in your online course or anywhere it is that you're seeing practice questions. Look, I guarantee you're not going to see an exact word-for-word replication of a question anywhere. Because if that does exist out there and that question becomes compromised in the Florida Real Estate Commission exam bank of questions, that they eliminate that from the question bank. If too many people are getting it right because that question has been compromised, they're going to pull that out of the testing bank. They monitor these exam results every single month. They send us reports every single month of statewide how people are performing on that, and they maintain these certain ratios. So if these questions start to get too easy, too many people are getting them, they remove that there. So it's not the questions itself it is that you want to study, it's the key points. And now what do I mean when I say key points? So let's talk about one of the concepts that usually proves difficult for a lot of test takers, and that's regarding concurrent ownership, specifically the stuff about tenancy in common versus a joint tenancy versus tenancy by the entireties, and whether or not there's right of survivorship. So yeah, you could go through and memorize, okay, tenancy in common is multiple owners that does not have right of survivorship, which means the heirs will inherit the property, and with joint tenancy, there is right of survivorship, which means the other owners will inherit the property, and tenancy by the entireties is essentially the same thing between spouses, where again there's right of survivorship, and the other spouse will inherit the property. That's ultimately what it is that you want to remember, but that's not going to be the direct question that you're going to ask, that you're going to see on the exam. The exam question isn't going to be just something as simple as which of the following. It could be, but so there's a requirement of the Florida Real Estate Commission that the exam questions be no more than 10% of simple recall. So only 10 questions on your exam will be just a simple recall of which of the following has right of survivorship, and it lists you out some options. That's just a simple recall type of question. An application-based question, which is what they require for 90% of the questions on the exam, is not just the simple recall, it's being able to recall and now apply that concept into a question. So it might say, Jim, Bob, and Joe own a property. When Bob dies, the Bob share goes to Jim and Joe. What type of ownership did Bob have? And it's that type of question there, where you're not going to be able to study and try to memorize a question that's going to be that exact question that you see on the exam, because you're not going to find it. And even if there is a question that's extremely similar, there's lots of questions out there that are going to be similar to the questions that are asked on the exam, or Question Simulator. If you haven't checked that out already, we've tried to do a really great job of simulating those exam questions as best as possible. But again, you're not going to see an exact duplicate of these questions. So it's not the questions that you want to memorize, it's the key points. And there's far fewer key points than there are questions. You know, they pull from a bank of thousands of questions, but there's only so many key points, especially certain things that are important. I could guarantee you're going to see some question, some way, somehow, out of that chapter on concurrent ownership, either asking about a joint tenancy or a tenancy in common, but again, doing it about how these people own the property and what happens when they die and who gets the property or what type of ownership it is that they have. So you want to review those basic key points of concurrent ownership, for example, or maybe it's about escrow. That's another big part of the exam. Escrow disputes, and maybe you remember that acronym MALE: mediation, arbitration, litigation, and escrow disbursement order. So maybe you remember that MALE acronym. Again, one of those simple but only 10% of the exam questions where it's just simple recall is which of the following is or is not a way to a settlement procedure for conflicting demands. But the more complex application-based question is going to be a broker has received conflicting demands, and the broker is interested in instituting a binding form of settlement. Which of the following would be a binding settlement procedure the broker could use? Something like that, where again now you've got a situation that you're dealing with. That's what makes these application-based. And so to practice with this, you want to test yourself. So you want to review the key points and have those key points down pat. But then you want to go in and test yourself and find out, do you know these key points? Can you apply those key points in a question? Because you'll find some questions, I guarantee you, no matter how much you've studied this stuff and reviewed some stuff, you're going to find some questions where you're like, I don't know. Maybe you guess right. But look, if you're having to guess in this step of testing your knowledge, it's showing you that you do not have a firm understanding of the key points for whatever it is that you're having to guess on. So sometimes it is that you've got to backtrack and go back to the key points and say, okay, well, I got this one wrong. Let me go back and review that. Or, a lot of times, if our question simulator, again, we've got it where it gives you answer explanations right away, and it gives you that key point, that rationale behind it. Now, maybe you want to go back further, maybe back into your online course, back into your textbook, and review that a little bit more so you really, truly, completely understand that key point that's back there. But that's what testing your knowledge is designed to do. It's designed to simulate that environment of the actual exam, to find out if you're really ready, if you can apply these concepts in a question, or if you're not ready. And that testing your knowledge part will really start to show you what it is that you do and do not know. And now it's up to you to circle back around to reviewing the key points for those things it is that you don't know. Now notice how much we've talked about more than just learning the information. Taking the information in, I don't care how memorable it is, there's so much information that needs to be taught in these pre-licensing courses. Even if it's taught in the most memorable way, you still need to put some effort into actually remembering that, just because there's so much information that's covered that could be tested on your exam. And then your final step, because as you go through this, and especially the testing your knowledge aspect of this here, the questions are tough that you're going to see on the exam, where they're designed to go against what your common sense would tell you. They're designed to weed out the people that are just trying to use test strategy to find the right answer versus the people who actually know the material that's covered in the course, knowing the laws and the rules and the requirements of the DBPR and the Florida Real Estate Commission. That's what it's designed to test you on. And you've got to go into this confident, because if you're not confident in your skills and abilities and knowledge about everything it is that you've learned and have focused on studying, you're going to second guess yourself. So you don't want to do that. You need to be confident and prepared. And this isn't, me just saying, go get rah-rah and all fired up and everything. It's me saying that, hey, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust that you know what you think you know, that you have studied, you might know it, and you're maybe not giving yourself as much credit. And the more it is that you work through these steps here of reviewing the key points and testing yourself, the more it is that you might wonder, well, am I going to remember everything? There's a lot of stuff it is that I've been studying. So that's where it is that you got to be confident throughout this whole process. So just to recap this stuff here, and this is the full pass first try strategy. It's learning the information, reviewing the basic key points, applying those key points in a test environment and test your knowledge to see if you really can apply those key points in an exam question, and then finally being confident enough to go into that testing center and not second guessing yourself. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back I want to give you guys the recommended study tools that are approved by the Tampa School of Real Estate that we recommend that you implement at each of these different steps. So we're going to talk about that and how to best use those, but first we're taking a quick commercial break. Stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. If you've been thinking about real estate, look, in this current market, it's hard not to. There's so many opportunities that exist out there for residential real estate, commercial real estate, business brokerage, property management. I mean, it's ridiculous how much opportunity lies from having a real estate license. So look, if you've been thinking about getting a real estate license, I mean, it's minimal cost compared to starting other careers and starting other businesses to get into this. So I urge you to check it out and give it a try. I mean, even if you're just using your license for personal use, you've got huge, immense benefits there. Go to this link. It's licensefl.com. That's licensefl.com. Put that link in the description. It's got your step-by-step guide to get a Florida real estate license. And look, check it out. Give us a call. We're here to answer any questions it is that you have, and go out there and make some money.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com. Did you know that statewide only about 50% of test takers pass their state exam on the first try? At the Tampa School of Real Estate, we've broken down passing class and state exams into 4 simple steps: learning the information, reinforcing the information, testing your knowledge, and being confident and prepared. View the details of the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we're live, helping you understand the technical side of the real estate industry. what we're talking about today, extremely technical, because that's a lot of the stuff it is that you learn in the pre-licensing course that you have to study and review to be able to pass the exam so you could actually practice real estate. So we're going through our pass first try strategy, and before we went on break, we went through and did these 4 steps here, the 4 steps that basically you're going to transition yourself through. And you might have already been doing some of these things and maybe just not have known it. And look, we've tried to break this down into 4 simple steps of how to be ready to pass your exams, and hopefully on the first try that you take the exams. And look, if you've already taken the exam already, we actually got a comment in over on Facebook from Beth, taking the exam 3 times with no success, and this is helpful. So thank you, Beth, for sharing that with us. Again, this isn't just something we made up. This is something we spent years after helping students pass their exams. I mean, this year alone, we've helped thousands of people get their real estate license throughout Florida. So this is based on years of experience in helping students get their real estate license to be able to pass this exam, to take time out of the equation and really get it to where you could go right in. You focus your efforts on studying and really do a self-diagnosis of where it is that you fall in this process, and then you're able to, again, take time out of the equation, do this in the least amount of time possible. So learning the information, that's the pre-licensing course. And again, this one is required. You can't get your real estate license without taking the pre-licensing course unless you have a degree in real estate or you're an attorney. But even then, you still have to pass the exam in those 2 categories. So you'll probably still have to do maybe some version of these things here. Now, for reviewing the key points, there's a lot of things that are available to review the key points, but my favorite method, something that I highly recommend, is the MP3 audio review. And that's available at mp3audioreview.com. Also links to that off of passfirsttry.com. So the MP3 audio review. Now this is just a few hours in length. This is not a complete audio recording of everything it is that you're going to learn in the pre-licensing class, but it's a brief synopsis of the most important key points. And the goal with this MP3 audio review is to have repetition. So you hear this again and again and again and again and really drill into your head these simple key points that it's covering in the MP3 audio review. And why this is my favorite is because this is one of the few ways that you can almost put your studying on autopilot. And the reason why is because you can maybe put this on when you're in the car driving around, or maybe just listen to it before you go to bed. Maybe you don't drive around a lot. Maybe if you want to just take a half hour before you go to sleep, or maybe first half hour after you wake up, or maybe while you're on lunch, you just pop in your headphones, you're at the gym working out, wherever it is you could find time to go through and listen through this stuff. And it's all broken down by unit, so you could jump to whichever chapters it is that you're struggling with, or maybe just going right into the biggest chapters that represent the largest portion of the exam. But again, it really kind of automates the studying to a certain extent. I mean, you could try listening to this while you're sleeping, but no guarantees there, because who knows if that really actually gets through anywhere. It might, so maybe it's worth a shot. I've been told it can put you to sleep, especially when you go into some of the law sections there and just listen to the real estate laws on repeat. So that's reviewing the key points. And there's other ways to do this as well. Flashcards are good for this. You could just reread the textbook or reread the information maybe in your course or something like that. That'll work as well. But look, this is the way where you're probably, like I said, it might put you to sleep listening to the real estate laws, but you want something that's going to put you to sleep faster, reading the real estate laws. You read those real estate laws and your eyes are just going to start to glaze over and you'll fall asleep. But these are things that are definitely important for the exam. The exam makes up, I think it's about 40% of it is based off of real estate law. So that MP3 auto review, a really great tool. You can actually go right on there and listen to the first chapter for free. So that's extremely powerful for making sure you've got these key points down. Now let's say maybe you've already got the key points down, and so you're like, okay, yeah, I've been rereading the highlights, I've been making flashcards, whatever the case may be, but now you want to be able to test yourself. So what we recommend for this is our question simulator. And that also is available at just questionsimulator.com, also linked to off of passfirsttry.com. And there's actually a demo right on here where you could try out. I think you get like 13 practice questions for free right off of that page, questionsimulator.com. So check out that demo on there and go test yourself a little bit with that. Now, the benefit, because yes, you might have practice questions in your textbook or maybe in the course. Maybe you didn't take the course with us. This is all still based on the same content, so you can still use these studies tools regardless of where it is that you took your course. As long as you're trying to get a Florida real estate license, these study tools will help you. And this question simulator, it's extremely usable because yes, you could use your book or whatever it is, but how often are you going to carry your book around everywhere it is that you go? But then if I ask you how much you carry this around, and this is, it's attached at my hip, it's always in my pocket or at least within arm's reach, and that's everywhere I go. And with questionsimulator.com, you can just log in and immediately just start practicing questions wherever it is that you are. And the key thing with all this stuff, it's not just trying to cram this in as quickly as possible. There's a certain extent to where that will help. But look, as fast as you cram this information in, the faster it is that you forget this information. If you're spending lots of time in reviewing this again and again and again and again with spaced repetition, that works so much better for learning than just trying to cram everything in, because what happens is you quickly hit your ceiling and all of a sudden you're just burnt out and worn out. So if you're just trying to do an intense, in-depth study session for like a few hours and then going to take your exam and that's the only studying that you've done, that's going to be rough. And I also really don't recommend studying the day of your exam. Maybe you go when you arrive at the testing center and just, flip over a few things so you get your mind turning about real estate. But look, you don't want to wear yourself out studying on the day it is that you've got to take your exam. But wherever it is that you do want to work on practice questions, that question simulator is a great tool for that. And again, with this, it basically will show you if you know these things. And look, sometimes you might have to guess at an answer. You read the question, you're like, I have no idea what's going on here, and you might have to guess. We've set up this question simulator. We actually just launched a new version about a month ago now, and we've had amazing success with this. We've actually had some students just come in the other day that were praising this question simulator so much. So it really works. We really designed this to make it the best possible exam question simulator available, and not only that, but an amazing and powerful tool for studying for your exam. Because when you get one of these questions wrong, now when you're working with practice questions, it's not that you want to memorize the question. So hopefully you caught that when we were talking about that earlier in today's show. You do not want to memorize the questions. But what you do want to memorize is the reason why that answer is the answer, what that concept behind this question is, because that's what they're doing on the exam. They're taking this concept that they want to test you on, and they're burying it under all this other extra information, under this complex scenario. And so part of this is being able to sift through all this information to finding out what they're really asking about, and now just being able to recall that information. And that's where these explanations that you get automatically, as soon as you answer a question, right away you're getting the explanation. If you do practice questions, that is the best way to do them. You don't want to go and sit through and put yourself through a mock exam, because you know what's going to happen with a mock exam. You go do not even 100 questions. You only do like 20 or 30 questions. You're going to be burnt out, and by the time you go to check your answers, you're going to be forgetting why it is you picked the answer it is that you picked, especially with a 100 question mock exam. If you go through all these questions without getting immediate feedback as to whether this is right or wrong, it's not as effective as if you do get immediate feedback. So we've got our question simulator set up to do exactly that, but however it is that you're using practice questions, make sure that you're checking the answer right away. After you do the question, check it to see if you got that right or wrong, so that way you're still in the same train of thought. And hopefully you're doing practice questions that have explanations that are explaining why that answer is the way it is. That's what you've got right in the question simulator. Immediate feedback, right or wrong, as well as why that answer is the way it is. And so that's our question simulator. And now our fourth step in the pass first try strategy of being confident. Now, if you're going through this and scoring 100% and you're finding this super easy, you're probably going to be confident, and you might be ready for your exam right there. But maybe you're not the most confident. And look, it's hard to be that 100% just going flying through this, say, oh yeah, easy, 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 got this, and not having to guess at all for that there. So chances are you're going to have some nerves. You're going to be a little bit nervous. You're going to be a little bit anxious. And look, that's your worst enemy in the exam. So you want to try to make yourself confident and prepared for the exam. So what we recommend for that is our weekend prep class. So the weekend prep class is an intense 2-day review of the most important points out of every section of the course. Really starting with the most important sections and working its way down to the chapters that are the lowest percentages on the exam. Covering some exam tips and tricks and whatnot, some ways you might be able to shave a couple extra points onto your score by making some good guessing and whatnot. But look, this is intense. If you go into the weekend prep class without having studied it all prior, you're going to have a really hard time keeping up in this class. So that's why we always recommend this as the fourth step, as the final step, as the final thing it is that you should be doing to study. So prior to taking the review class, you should be reviewing some key points, however it is you're doing that, whether through the audio review, or maybe you're just rereading highlights in your book, or whatever the case may be, and then testing yourself with some practice questions, and ideally, again, having the spaced repetition. That's why these two tools are so powerful here, because you could go through this and spend weeks, or maybe even months of every day, or at least I would say try to fit it in every day rather than doing every other day. Even if you can only fit in like 5 or 10 minutes a day, that's better than doing an hour a week and just doing it once a week. So having that repetition every single day, which you could do right here. Now with the weekend prep class, this is extremely powerful if you've spent some time studying beforehand, and sometimes not even the case. Sometimes, it just clicks a little bit better. But you're making it more difficult on yourself if you haven't already completed these prior 2 steps in the pass first try strategy. So this is best done right before you take your exam. Like you do a weekend prep class, and then that week, ideally that Monday or maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, you're taking your exam. And when that's the case, you've got that information fresh in your head, because this is intense. And let's say this does go well and you're feeling good walking out of this. If you wait a week or wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks before it is that you take your exam, and you haven't touched anything since you've taken that class, or maybe that class was the only thing it is that you've done, you're going to have a hard time recalling the information from that class. And again, this does not necessarily have to always flow in this direct order, because sometimes you're going to find out that you have to backtrack. Say, this chapter I kind of struggled with. Let me go back and do some more practice questions. Or let me really go back and review that concept some more, then go back into doing some test questions, and then hopefully making myself confident and prepared. So you might have to move yourself around throughout this process. But the 2 things that are probably going to give you the best start off of this here is making sure you've got a good understanding of the key points, and then testing your knowledge. And then again, if you need a little bit of a confidence boost, if you want to go back through and that's the nice part about these weekend prep classes, because if you've gone through and done this studying, you're going to walk out of this class feeling confident. Now, if you haven't studied at all going into this class, you're not going to be feeling too confident, because you would have just gone through 2 days of information. You're just trying to remember and recall, which that might be enough. That might work. But you're going to have much better results if you've done some of this beforehand. So check all this out. It's available at passfirsttry.com. If you've taken your exam and you've had some trouble passing the exam, give us a call. Even if you haven't been a student with us, you could send us that report it is that you received from the testing center that gives you a breakdown of how it is that you performed on the exam, what sections it is that you scored in. And if you want to send that to us, we could help you out and do a free counseling session to discuss how it is that we recommend you should study based on what it is that you've done so far. So feel free to give us a call. We'd love to help you out with that. That phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, 813-333-2676. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. You can review that full strategy at passfirsttry.com. Again, it's got these simple steps here broken down with links to all of these materials. Maybe you haven't taken the course yet, so check out the pre-licensing course and get enrolled in there. And just keep in mind this strategy as it is that you work through the course, because you don't want to wait until you've taken the course and then start studying, or wait until you've gone through learning everything and then right before your class exam then start studying. You want to get ahead of this. You want to start as early as possible. Right after day 1, you're reviewing the key points of what you learned from day 1. You're testing yourself on what it is that you learned on day 1, and you're going to find that almost automatically makes you confident in all this. So check that out. That's passfirsttry.com. That's about all the time it is that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you still have questions, send that in an email to us, drop that in the comments, give us a call, or shoot us a text. Again, that phone number is 813-333-2676. It's all we've got for today. I'll see you guys Friday for State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.